Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today we have some superhero movie news, or I should say, we have some rumors potentially here about the Flash movie. So, this, of course, article from Bounding Into Comics. I'll link it in the description below so y'all can check it out for yourselves. But let's go over it real quick. It says, rumor Ezra Miller's status as the Flash still in question and why Michael Keaton's Batman returns. Okay. Ezra Miller may be in doubt for the Flash as he was when the video of him choking a fan in Iceland and forcing her to the ground went viral. Now, I'm sure many of you remember that. I did cover that on a live stream. For those of you that have not seen, of course, I'm not going to show the video now here in this particular video that I'm making. But in that video, what had happened was it seemed like Ezra Miller might have been inebriated. And looks like he was probably close to a bar or somewhere, was just walking, and it seemed like there was a fan that was chiding him. A female fan was chiding him or saying something to him, and then Ezra Miller did not take too kindly to whatever it was that this fan was saying. Now, of course, I don't know what was happening that led up to this situation. From what it looked like, it could be that the fan was probably saying stuff to him. The fan probably also, or the people that the fan was with, they might have also all been, might have had a few drinks themselves, and that's what could have potentially led up to all this. It seemed like they might have been just messing around because it didn't seem like there was any aggression on the fans' part whatsoever. It seemed like they were trying to be playful, but it seemed like Ezra Miller himself was in no mood to play, and he then, approached the fan, ended up, just grabbing her by the neck, dragging her all the way down to the ground. To the best of my knowledge, there wasn't any kind of strikes thrown of any kind, and I don't know what happened after she was brought there to the ground, because then that's when the video kind of ends at that point. And seemingly because whoever was recording and whoever else was there, you started to see more people get involved. So I'm not sure what's going to happen now with Ezra Miller because of that, because there were talks about him starring in his own Flash movie. Those talks have seemingly kind of gone away. There hasn't been any more mention. There hasn't been any word as to whether or not Ezra Miller is still going to be in any upcoming DC movies regarding the Flash, whether it's going to be in a Justice League sequel movie or anything like that. There hasn't been any talk about that. It could be because maybe they're just waiting for things to blow over, or it could be that maybe silently they'll go ahead and get rid of him. I guess it just depends on whether or not this situation really lingers around, which in the climate that we're in right now, where everybody seems to be in this kind of cancel mode, where they're canceling people over tweets that they made years ago, or maybe a comment that they made on some TV program, or whatever the case may be. It seems like, especially right now, there seems to be this whole fever pitch of canceling people over something that they've done in the past. And with, like I said, with the way that the climate is right now, with all these cancellations taking place, I would not be surprised if people start making a buzz about this once again, and that could potentially harm Ezra Miller's role in these DC movies. So who knows? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But let me go ahead and continue on here with this article. YouTube's resident scooper, Grace Randolph, counters the conclusion made by most reports that Miller is staying attached with Michael Keaton, possibly coming aboard to reprise Batman. So let me just say this real quick. That's another thing that I failed to mention, is that Warner Brothers, DC, nobody had made any kind of statement regarding what Ezra Miller had done, at least to the best of my knowledge. There was no statement by them. I don't believe that there was a statement by Ezra Miller himself or whoever represents Ezra Miller either. It's just one of those things that it just was not addressed. It just kind of, I won't say people have really forgotten about it, but by and large, most people have moved past it at this point. So I just wanted to get that out there. And this is interesting news, right, about Michael Keaton. And we'll get into that, why that is, because I'm sure, as many of you know, if you've been a long-time movie fans, especially of comic book movies, you know that Michael Keaton was the first person to portray Batman in a big screen film role, right? And that was in 1989's Batman, that was directed by Tim Burton, and then its sequel, which was Batman Returns. Both were really great movies, and for a lot of people, Michael Keaton is, like the best Batman, right? For a lot of people, not for me personally. I honestly think that Christian Bale was probably the best in terms of performance and all that. It's just my opinion, but there's some people that feel that Michael Keaton was the best, right, in his portrayal of Bruce Wayne and Batman. To me, I personally think it was Christian Bale. I just feel that Christian Bale had much more versatility in the role, and he kind of had to grow into it a little bit more. And once he did, I think he really nailed it. But again, just my opinion. Although I do love Michael Keaton, I think he's still great. But let's get back to this. Sorry, I keep getting off track here. We'll try to get through this here and hopefully finish it. So she called Miller a big stumbling block. Randolph said, "We will see if they keep Ezra Miller. The jury apparently is still out on that, but Ezra Miller is a big stumbling block." And I imagine that this person is saying this because, of course, of what we know, right? And this is the video, I guess, of the incident in question. Again, not going to play it here, but it's pretty easy to find if y'all want to go ahead and look that up for yourselves. This is only a rumor, but there is a fan petition to have Miller removed from Flash and Fantastic Beast, although he isn't under investigation over the incident below, said to be serious and a result of his intoxication. And I think this is something that we have briefly talked about in that stream as well. My criticisms, obviously, of Ezra Miller were that, there's fans out there that can act out and do certain things, but as a professional, right, in the industry, it's probably best that you just kind of ignore them, right, and not take what they do as a challenge. Because it seems like that's what it was. It seems like Ezra Miller, at least from the accounts of people, I guess, that know him and things like that were said around that time, is that he's kind of a confrontational person. And apparently there has been talks, and again, it's just rumor, that this kind of reaction from Ezra Miller is not uncommon when he's kind of put in these situations. Apparently, you can even kind of hear it in some of the stuff that Ezra Miller says back to this person. So, but again, watch the video for yourselves, make your own determination, draw your own conclusion. But we'll continue on here. Miller is considered hard to work with as well, which might be what led to the duo of John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein jumping ship from the project. Daley seemed to throw shade about creative differences back in April when the choking incident occurred. So we have here, John Francis Daley tweeting creative differences. Turning back to Keaton, he's reportedly in talks to stage a comeback as the Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Tim Burton's movies. Randolph initially heard he could be playing Thomas Wayne in an update. She says that's off the table now. That's very interesting, right? For him to come back as Thomas Wayne in a potential story arc. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was circling a role in The Flash as recently as last week. He's not as big a draw, so Keaton and his rendition of Batman are more preferable, especially if Warner Brothers wants to compete against Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And of course, we know there's been some rumors and speculation around the Multiverse of Madness, but that's for another video. We'll continue on here. The Marvel sequel is in a similar vein to the time-jumping, universe-bending Flashpoint story the Flash will adapt. And of course, as you know, Flashpoint is a story, one of the more popular stories that has been told in the Flash comic books probably in the last 10 to 15 years, I would say. One of the ones that drew a lot of attention, that had kind of an impact across the DC universe. So it also doesn't hurt that nostalgia for Keaton's Batman is in vogue. He was already referenced in the Arrowverse during Crisis on Infinite Earths, where his world was erased by the Anti-Monitor. In older Tim Burton Batman, substituting Thomas Wayne's Flashpoint Dark Knight obviously veers heavily from the comics. Fans will be upset, and rightfully so, said Randolph. The rap cast doubt on if Thomas Wayne was ever in the script, as if it made no difference. And Randolph tweeted evidence in a character breakdown she claims was from December 2019. Thomas Wayne is listed in the middle with JDM designated as circling. She added the role moved beyond development. So this is where she posts that tweet. Wow, now I'm seeing a claim from hashtag the rep reporter that Thomas Wayne isn't even in Flashpoint, aka the Flash movie. F it. Here's the actual casting grid role listed back in December 2019. I'd say the role moved beyond development. And there she shares the tweet, which shows Nora Allen. Then it also shows Thomas Wayne and gives kind of a brief description. And you see the circling. It does have Jeffrey Dean Morgan's name. I don't know if y'all can see it here in the video, but it does have Jeffrey Dean Morgan's name there. Randolph added Morgan didn't close a deal with Warner Brothers. Again, this was back in December 2019. Jeffrey Dean Morgan never closed his deal. Flash actor Andy Muschietti promised to deliver a version of Flashpoint different than expected. Randolph says it will entail Barry Miller teaming up with Cyborg Ray Fisher and the Burtonverse Batman Keaton to put right the timeline he messed up with by saving his mother. The Flash is still set for a 2022 release as far as we can tell, despite the delays in Warner Brothers state. So this is all very interesting because, again, there was rumors going around after Ezra Miller's situation that, you know, potentially maybe the Flash could be recast, maybe the movie would be scrapped altogether, but it looks like, at least as far as we know now, or at least rumor has it, that it still seems to be a go. It's going to be very interesting to see whether or not they're going to go ahead and continue on with Ezra Miller. Now, of course, could be more to it, right? He could already be locked into a contract and they have decided to just go ahead and still honor that contract. This could also be why, like I said before, that they didn't wade into this whole controversy with Ezra Miller. Maybe they're just hoping that it just goes away. But I have a feeling that if this movie does happen and you see that once there's more news about either it going into production or once the movie's actually completed, it's going to resurface again. Things like this always do. Controversial things like this always do. And I wouldn't be surprised if it resurfaced again now, right? Like I said, because now we're in this kind of weird phase all across media where anybody and anything, just anything they said or did, like I said, regardless of how long ago it was, seems to be brought back up. And we're seeing it across everywhere. We're seeing it on YouTube. We're seeing it obviously in the movie industry, the television industry, the entertainment industry by and large, where there's this just kind of idea of trying to just really capitalize on the sentiments, the sensitivity of people right now, to try to capitalize on that, on the fact that people are sensitive about what's going on in the world today and use it as an opportunity to cancel other people. It's kind of sad, but it is what's happening right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, some way, because of what happened with Mr. Miller here, that he could potentially end up on that chopping block as well. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you love to see Michael Keaton return as Batman? Would you be interested in seeing him as a Thomas Wayne? Or would you prefer Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Let me know in the comment section below and let's have a conversation about it. Until next time, you all know how it goes. The hunt continues. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like, share, and comment below.